From the depths of rot and decay they rise. The death guard marches under sickened skies. With boils and blight, they spread the pain. In Nurgle's name, disease will reign. Rot and ruin and pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death guard comes, none can stay. From the depths of rot and decay they rise. The death guard marches under sickened skies. With boils and blight, they spread the pain. In Nurgle's name, disease will reign. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death guard comes, none can stay. Armored and filled with rusted blades, they laugh as cities wilt and fade. Where they tread, no life remains. Just hollow corpses, plague remains. Beneath the helm, the cursed grin, for in death they shall begin. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death guard comes, none can stay. Beneath the warp the souls are bound. To spread decay, to break the ground. Nurgle's gifts a putrid stain. A future where only disease remains. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death guard comes, none can stay. The rot spreads, there's no escape. The death guard seals your fate.
We should be live. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Disgusting Resilient podcast. And Dave is back from Vegas. Hello Dave. Oh, it's good to have you back, Dave. So I think that was picking you up. Oh, sorry, is that my bad? Can you? Yeah, the little soundbar is not going up when you guys are talking. I'm gonna hope it's working. There's no reason it shouldn't be. But can't hear Dave. Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? Can anyone? No, they can't hear any of you. Thanks, desktop audio. That's great. Well, this has gone well. Now I'm smashing the stream up. Why are they silent? That's not good. I haven't even messed with the settings. Nothing's happened. Device default. Will that work? Say something, guys.
Hello, something.
There we go. Okay, yeah, reasons because reasons.
I check 1 2 1 2 and all that.
Yeah, we should be good now. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Right, okay. The sound volume is spiking now. We can hear you guys. Everything should be good. Okay, everything just kind of broke for a second.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. There you go. Okay. Well, okay, guys, just pretend that didn't happen. Yeah, pretend that didn't happen. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Disgusting Resilient Podcast Live. And welcome back if you've been in Vegas and now you are back.
I am, yes. I was sorry. I wasn't just lip syncing. What I actually said was, had a lovely time. Really pleased to be back. Got back yesterday evening, and yeah, I was straight back into work today. But yeah, I think managed to jet lag pretty well. I slept straight through, so pretty good. But yeah, pleased to be back in the same time zone as my two boys.
Yeah, it was. We had to basically check up on you at like just as you were either waking up or going to bed, and that's about it. We're like, good luck today, Dave. Bye. But no, it was. So I mean, before we jump into obviously the main topic we're going to talk about tonight is going to be obviously LVO. How Death Guard actually did surprisingly well at LVO.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the crazy lists that also did well, and then we're going to sort of a general chat about Death Guard going forward, because I had a bit of a revelation in a TTS game last night. That'd be cool to talk about. But before we do get into all that, don't forget everybody, if you do like the content, leave a like and a subscribe. Let's get the shilling out of the way. It really helps us out. If you really enjoy the content, consider becoming a Plague Marine member. You get access to our Discord. Our music is now actually on Spotify as well.
Another link to put in the video descriptions.
Yep. Yeah.
Also, before we go too much further, let's just give a shout out to Brent Ashby and the super chat. He wants to buy you a beer, Dave, and yeah, I think we all want to buy you a beer. You've been repping Death Guard, so yeah. Big shout out to Brent. There you go. You can have
I'd definitely take you up on that one. I could go for a pint right now. That'd be good.
Thank you very much, Brent. Really appreciate it, mate. Yeah, just a quick clarification there. If you become a member, do make sure to go to our YouTube channel homepage, go on the community tab, scroll down a few posts, you'll find a link to join the Discord once you are a member. And then basically, yeah, you're in. You got all the good stuff that comes with it. But let's not chill out too long. So just before we jump into Dave's LVO experience first, that's the first on topic tonight. Will, how are you doing? Have you been up to anything recently?
Yeah, I played a Teams event at the weekend with a version of Nathan Roberts' Hull Spam list, which I had 0 practice games going into. I became
did you modify it a little bit?
I made one small change. I dropped the 2 Predator Annihilators for Typhus and 2 Blight Haulers. So through some back end channels, I've also seen the England version, which doesn't have the Knights. So it was kind of a middle ground tweak on that, but I won't share too much on that because I know those lists are probably meant to be secret. So getting shared them to maybe make them public, people might stop sharing them.
You won't get them anymore, yeah.
Yeah. So one of them.
I expect a message, Will, after this.
yeah.
In fact, what's this just coming through now? Tell Will to shut up.
That's it, yeah.
The FBI are on the way.
But it was good. So I'll talk a bit more about it because I think it links a bit to the LVO stuff with the sort of Hull spam. But yeah, I became the sacrificial lamb a little bit. I got through into Mike Porter, Mike Duff. Sort of, I don't know that there was one matchup where for some reason they just totally. We picked the board and they just picked the worst board, and afterwards I was like, "Why have you picked this?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, I don't know." And they came and my own team came and apologized to me. So yeah, it was one of them ones. But it's a good list. Like it's very strong. So yeah, I'll share my thoughts afterwards because I think it links nicely to the sort of the LBO chat because I think obviously Dave's heavily mechanized list and Don's incredible run there with kind of very something very similar. So I think we can sort of lead into that later and talk about the Hull spams because there was also someone messaged me earlier to say there was a German list very similar to Nathan's that swapped out the PBC some of the units that also went 5-0 at a German super major over the weekend. So the Hull spam's clearly got there's clearly something in the air, might be the way to put it. But before I blow the lead, Dave, what was your LVO result? Come on, me and Aidan know, but I don't know if all the chat and the listeners know. So
sure,
I'll let you.
Knows. But no, but just a few more bounce about the chat really quickly. Ironically, Papa Nurgle has just become a Plague Marine. I mean, I think he wants to just go and get out in the field. So that's kind of an interesting one.
So Papa Nurgle Jr.
Yeah. You're very, very welcome. Strong boy, just super chatted $5 saying not trying to upstage Dave or anyone else, but you should interview Don. And I just replied by saying we absolutely are going to.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It was absolutely incredible performance. I've gone to that in just a second before I talk about mine. Scott Nergo is a member for 6 months and just said went against Matt Laura round 3. LVO was rough. Playing Matt Laura is an experience. So well done for getting through that one.
For surviving.
Yeah, that would have been a tough one. And Sebastian Lundvak, welcome to being Plague Marine. So thank you very much for joining. Really appreciate all the support. So before I go into my bit, I just want to say, firstly, from all of us, huge congratulations to Don, taking Death Guard into the Shadow Round at LVO. I mean, just amazing. Let alone all the other players who have been repping Death Guard really, really well. And I like to comment Aidan made on Sunday, I think, which was just saying, you know, it does feel like the skill level of Death Guard is going up and up and up, and that's a really good thing to see that so many lists went this well, and so many lists got into like the higher stages. It was really heartwarming to see.
Yeah.
And
Also,
then- sorry,
before we,
go on.
who? Because obviously Don wasn't the only one who made it to the top
No.
16 winning Death Guard. There was two other players. I didn't recognise their names, and if they're any link to the channel. But also, you know, big shout out to those guys. You know, obviously, Don is someone who's affiliated with the channel, so obviously we've shown him the love. But
I
that's
think
not.
Jeff is in the Jeff's actually in the chat as well.
Oh, one of the people as
yeah.
well. Oh, big
Yeah,
shout
yeah,
out to Jeff. Yeah. I mean, who was the third gentleman then? Do we know? Does
Hans
anyone know
Lieber.
off the top of their head?
He's in our Tofu Bolt. I don't know if that's his thingy name, but in Discord, in our Discord channel, he is Tofu Bolt.
Amazing.
Oh wow! So yeah, all three of the guys, you know, round of applause, congratulations. Obviously, you know,
I think quite a lot of people are in the Discord, which is great.
yeah. I mean, it's, you know, it was just, I was very surprised to look at the top 16 and three Death Guard listed and one of them being Don. So yeah, it was quite was quite nice. It was nice. I expected it to be the usual, you know, Innes Wilson and, you know what I mean, all, you know, like half the Art of War guys, and I expected it to just be the sort of like the, you know, the names you expect. So it was nice to see a bit of variation in there with the factions and also the players running them as well. So yeah, you know, it was really good.
Yeah. Big shout out to Don for super chatting his usual 777. Really kind of you. Yeah, I loved loved meeting you too, man. Like it was great, and yeah, hugely proud of you to get to where you did. And yeah, Jeff just said I made it all the way to top. I'm a nobody. No, you're not, Jeff. You were the second ranked Death Guard player at LVO. You are somebody.
Nice. I mean, I suppose before we maybe break into that, then obviously talking about ranked Death Guard players, I guess Aidan Smelly also gets number one Death Guard
Well
player
done.
in the world.
Well done, Aidan.
Cheers,
Yeah,
guys.
always the bride, never the groom until this year. So how does it feel to finally become
I think it's always the bridesmaid, never the bride, not
Always the bride, never the groom.
I just butcher everything. I
always the
just
bride,
butcher that
never
one.
the.
God.
No,
I'll just taxi for Will. See you
That's
later
fine.
on, guys.
no, it is. No, it was,
If
obviously
it looks
it's
like he's
good.
got water, Will's drinking vodka.
No, like I said, for
Yeah,
4
yeah.
years I've been second, getting every single time the LVO came around, and the points from that knocked me out of first into second, and this is the first year managed to hold it even after the LVO. So super happy I can officially say this is 2024 season is the year I was the rank 1 Death Guard player in not just the UK but also the
the
world, which
world.
feels pretty cool. That's like a life goal achieved there. So I'm shutting down the channel now. Bye, guys. I am trying to stream here, but there's a 36 kilogram Sharpei has just decided to park himself on my chest. So I don't know why. But yeah, no, I agree. It was awesome to see all the people there. We got some games on stream as well. So we had Don Houston on stream. We had a Tofu Bolt on stream, who's Hans Lieber.
Yeah.
Some excellent games that we got to watch there. So it was just a great showing to see. And like I said, I think because Death Guard wasn't really on anyone's radar for doing well at LVO. So to have like literally 3 Death Guard armies in the top 15 is kind of wild. And the best bit is they're not even. We'll look at the builds in a sec after we've gone through yours, Dave. But the builds aren't even same. They're not even close. Some of them are wacky. Some of them are crazy. And the weird thing is, we don't really see a massive Death Shroud Terminators finishing at the top. So I think Will's theories about Death Shroud here potentially showing to be true, and I'm starting to feel that a little myself. So, but before we jump into everyone else's performance, we sent our own man over there. We sent, you know, the reporter in the
Roving
field.
reporter.
Yeah. So how did you do, Dave? How did it go on? And also, just I think I missed a gifted membership from Lazy Chicken there. Thank you very much for a gifted membership there. I really appreciate the support. If you got gifted it, remember to say thank you for your gift support and go and join the Discord. But yeah, so go on, Dave, take it away.
Oh, well, look, before also, just like, look, get with some names.
Oh yay! People signed it. Hell yeah!
Yeah, we got that, and Joe from War Games Live also got a cultist shirt, which he absolutely loved, which is great.
He wore it on stream first day.
Yeah, he did. It was really cool. Yeah, my games. So firstly had an amazing time at LVO. Flew in on Wednesday. Did the classic. Left London at about 2 in the afternoon. Got to Vegas 6 o'clock local time. Went out till about 4 in the morning. Stayed up, slept for 2 hours, then went for breakfast, then stayed up till 9 p.m. and then slept 11 hours and got onto Vegas time for the start of the event, which was really good. So walked in the door, the usual madness of playing in a single room with 1,000 people plus in it, which is really amazing. Of course, we get the fun stuff, which from a UK perspective is mad, where we're like, there aren't, we don't have pairings until approximately 32 seconds before one started, which was really funny.
Yeah, that was so weird. I kept checking to see what your pairings were, mate, and then like nothing was happening until like 2 minutes before the round, and then they went up, and I was like, Jesus Christ, you Americans are wild.
I know. So it was all cool. So first game I played into Brian Ramsey, who was playing Grey Knights. So I was a bit like, okay, that's an interesting one for my list. Which, as a reminder for everybody, was 3 Predator Destructors with Plague Heavy Bolters, which, by the way, are the absolute mutts bits down there. They were absolutely amazing all game. 2 Plague Burst Crawlers, 1 with Entropy, 1 with Spitters, which I actually really liked as a combination, having on the board in the end. I had 2 Drones, 1 Heavy Blight Launcher, 1 with Spitters. I had a Mephitic Blight Hauler, I had Typhus, I had 30 Cultists, I had a Lord of Contagion, and of course 6 Death Shroud on the table. And I think that was it. So, obviously I got the table, the terrain is... it was the first time I played on this
before
terrain.
You go too far, Dave, you mentioned Grey Knights. Was it the Christmas attachment or was it their classic one? Or do you not know?
No, good question, Will. Is it Teleport Assault?
The classic one, yeah.
The classic one. Yeah. That's a classic flavour. So, of course, my opponent gets his models out in there. It's like he's got the smallest carry case in the world because it's Grey Knights. So it's like a couple of... and I'm like, here's a Land Raider. Thank you, Zito. Yeah. Here's a Land Raider. And then he's like, right, I'm good because I've got my case open, right? So all I'm doing is just pulling tanks out of my bag, just like this, one after another, and I'm just like throwing them all on the table. So I think in that game, I pretty much just dropped everything on the table and was like, I'm going to cover every single firing lane there is possible on it. There was I'm not sure the exact format, the table setup we had that time, because there was 3 sets depending on, and layouts depending on which table you could be on, but it was an absolutely firing lane city. And I think he thought his plan was kind of to try and stop me just like rolling out across the table. So he put some stuff out early, which my firepower just absolutely deleted really quickly. And he was a really great opponent. I want to say this as well. Every single one of my opponents, I was really lucky. I had a great time with everybody, which was really strong. Poor Brian as well. I think maybe psyched himself out a little bit to start with, because as soon as he saw my Vanguard Tactics T-shirt, he was like, "Oh my god, I watch you guys all the time. Oh great, I've got to play Vanguard Tactics round 1." And I was like, "Dude, A, don't get in your own head about this." I said, and secondly, I'm not Stephen Box or Ben Jones. So I'm like, I'm not Matt Laura. I'm not like, I was like, so we're gonna have a good game. And we really did. But the firepower was just absolutely overwhelming. And I think in the end he had 2 Marines left on his home objective, and I think I lost like a unit of cultists and maybe a tank, maybe a predator. Wow. It was I was just able to just kind of push out across the board into different places, position the Death Shroud, just kind of sat in the middle behind a wall, basically going, if anything comes out, then they'll get charged. I stayed out of 9 of any of the units to avoid the reactive moves, but given I've got 48-inch guns all over the place, it was a bit of a shooting gallery, to be honest. So it was a really nice game. We had fun, but it was a 97-54 win for the Death Guard.
So very convincing.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was playing Plague Company as well, just for all, obviously for all the games, which was definitely the right one to put back in.
Nice, that's really good.
Yeah, so in that one,
just very quickly.
Go ahead.
Just very quickly, thank you very much to Ethan Gregory, still actually local to me. Hi Ethan, how you doing, buddy? I'm going to play Green, mate. Appreciate the support, man, massively. And again, check the community tab on our channel homepage. Get yourself in the Discord. Just message me on Facebook for yourself, because I literally know you, so I can just send it you direct. Thank you so much, mate. Appreciate it. So carry on, Dave. Round 2.
Yeah, no worries. Chuckanori Tank Wang is pretty much the way to look at it. Round 2, I played into Space Wolves. I haven't played Space Wolves since middle of 9th. So it was really interesting to play that one. He had lots of Thunderwolf cavalry, so was trying for very much a kind of a wolf jail kind of play. It was I reserved 3 of the Predators off the board to start with, so I basically kept everything else on. I positioned the Death Shroud behind a kind of mid-ruin, so that when he came in, I'd be able to heroic in with those, so it kind of made him have to choose what he was going to go into. And there was quite a nice point where he went with one Thunderwolf cavalry group into the Blight Hauler. I heroiced into them with the Death Shroud. He went into them, and I think he killed 3 of them, and he was kind of like quite happy with that situation. And then they hit back and killed like pretty much all the Thunderwolf cavalry. The Lord of Contagion was absolutely the right thing to take into this event as well. I would say the rerolls to hit were absolutely amazing. Really enjoyed that. The game was I deleted pretty much most of his army. I got some bad secondary draws towards the end of the game, and it was a 15-point win to Will. So Will, well done. And it was a 73 win and 58-point loss for me. So 15 points in round 2.
It's not bad. That's quite close.
Nice.
Still quite close.
Yeah, it was and once again a really good game. Played at a good pace. Nice player. Has played Death Guard previously as well, so that was quite cool.
Nice.
My round 3, I go into World Eaters. I play a Australian guy called Rick Moller who lives in Las Vegas. We had a brilliant game. You know, it's like you get to the bottom of day 1. It's like you get into the 9 hours of death of Warhammer, and you've been traveling and stuff. So you're like, want it to be a great game, and it was a great game with a great opponent. So we sank some beers over the table and had an absolute laugh while we were playing. So I thought this one was going to be quite interesting, given it's I think we talked on the last stream before the event saying that World Eaters could have been one of the ones that could be quite tricky if they'll come steaming across the table and tag a load of stuff. And so I actually, it was a close game, but I took it 76-70. I would say one of the things that hinged on that was I threw, once again, there were quite big open shooting lanes. So I threw 3 lots of 10 cultists out, sat on 2 objectives, quite happily out in the open with them, and was like, cool. And then there was another 10 in the middle. He charged into them with his, I think he charged into them with 3 units of 8 bound to pick them up really easily, and we were laughing at how easily the overkill was. Obviously, then I just moved some tanks out from cover and deleted all of the 8 bound, and because it made him kind of come aggressively forward, he had Angron, had a Rhino with some Berserkers on it, sat on his home. He actually ended up leaving quite a big hole in his backfield. So I dropped 6 Death Shroud and the Lord of Contagion in, rolled an 11-inch charge out of Deep Strike, hit the Rhino, piled into another group of 3 8 bound and killed them. Then basically took the Rhino down to a single wound. And of course, then everything that was sat inside that Rhino had to come out to fight the Death Shroud, and couldn't come into the field. He then bought Angron out. I deleted some other bits. Angron came in. Angron he decided he wanted to kill Typhus. So split attacks between the Land Raider and Typhus. Typhus just tanked all of Angron's attacks, and then hit him back for like 9 damage. The Land Raider took some damage, but it wasn't enough to kill it. So then in my next turn, I just fell back Typhus, fell back the Land Raider, moved all of my tanks around Angron at point blank range, and just shot Angron off the board. And by that point, there was just a few. He had to keep the few units he was having to try and score some secondary. So it just kept it quite tight, and we both just sat there kind of scoring and playing the game a bit more casually towards the end of the day on that one. But it was a 76-70 win to me, but really fun game. Rick was a great opponent, and his army looked really good on the table too. So we had a lot of fun.
Nice. So thank you very quickly to Sir in the chat for being a Plague Marine for 6 months, mate. Again, massively appreciate the continued support, man. It really means a lot. And to Tempest Minis, just in the chat, is asking, is planning his first big tournament at Adepticon, any advice? What advice do you guys we always give to people going to the first ever event? Mine personal one is results. Don't even think about. Just 100%. It's your first ever event. The only goal I want you to have is to go and just have fun. That is it. Go meet people, have a fun time. You take your models with you, play some Warhammer. If you go 0-5, doesn't matter. If you go 5-0, brilliant, still doesn't matter. Just go and have a great time. That's all I'd say for someone going to the first ever event.
What's your piece?
No, I think you've said that really well. I mean, Adepticon, I think as well, I've got an extra sort of big focus on hobby as well. So if the hobby side is something that you're interested in for that particular event, having a nice display board and things, I get the impression from third party on that one, doesn't matter at all how you do with the results in your games. If your army looks great, that's what they're more bothered about as well. So not the army has to be great, but it, I get the impression the vibe of that event is one where it's kind of about like people who are into the hobby, and you can, the results of the games are second to just meeting people and talking about Warhammer and cool conversions and stuff like that. So yeah, exactly as the guy said, just go, relax, have a good time. Most important thing is just speak to new people. Don't be shy. You've got something in common with everyone else is there. You all love Warhammer, even if it's different armies. Someone's got a cool model, go and ask them about it. Or someone's got like an army that you think's interesting, go and ask them about it. People are generally quite happy to sort of speak to like-minded people. So yeah.
Yeah, really good advice from both of you guys there. And I would say if you're playing a 2-day event, sit down. Make sure that because you'll be leaning over tables, stretching for things like be overly over communicate with your opponent. Tell them in each round what you're doing and why you're doing it. So I'm moving this here to shoot this. I'm moving this here because I want to get a charge off onto that, and then that will just make it really easy for you and your opponent to play the game and agree what's happening and make sure there's no confusion as to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always play the game with your opponent, not against your opponent. Even though it's your opponent, you can't really play Warhammer with someone that you're not playing with.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say to everyone is, this is a weird hobby that we all do, where you're forced to spend 3 hours across the table from a total stranger repeatedly. So you both owe it to each other to make that a good time for both of you.
Yeah. Social contract, that's the best way to put it. You're entering into a social contract with someone where you're going to be pleasant to each other for the next 3 hours. Whatever happens, you sort of you chat with each other, so you may as well sort of make the most of it, kind of thing. And sometimes through doing that, you'll perhaps meet someone who you see again at future events, and you actually strike up friendships. You know what I mean? And at each other's weddings, birthdays, funerals. You know what I mean? Like there's loads of people who first time you meet them, it's playing Warhammer with them. For example, Josh on the team that I'm part of, Stonehammer, they already had the team. Me and Josh played 3 times, drew 3 times, and then we sort of like got the point every event. It was we're gonna have another draw, aren't we? And then that sort of grew into a friendship. And I'm sure lots of people in this hobby have got like a similar story, someone that a chance to meet and developed into a long-term friendship. And years later, me and Josh are close friends. So yeah, it's just one example, and I can think of loads of people who I wouldn't have met if I hadn't been for this hobby, who I would consider close friends, and I look forward to seeing them. And sometimes at lunchtime at a tournament, once you get to know a few people, and you go for beers and things like that. Sometimes it's the most fun part of it.
I'll tell you something really fun. So anecdotally, so in my last game, a guy who was playing on the row in front of me, who I met for one game at the last game of LVO 2 years ago, and I've never seen him since. I've never talked to him since. Heard me talking in my game and turned around and was like, "Dave," and I was like, what are you doing? And he came running around. He gave me a massive hug. This guy's like about 60, and we had a really brilliant game. And he was playing Black Templars when we played. And he was like, "Wait! You're going to be so proud of me." He ran back to his table and came back with Mortarion. And was like, "I'm playing Death Guard now."
Oh wow!
I looked over and saw his tape measure, and I was like, "Yeah, but you're still playing with your Black Templars tape measure now, aren't you?" And he was like, "Yeah, I can't give it up completely." So, but it was amazing. So there's an example of like meeting someone in one game, having a good connection, and it being quite fun.
Sounds good. So,
and also thank you, just very quickly, thank you again to Pavel Konda for becoming a member, mate. Once again,
Pavel,
YouTube channel homepage, community tab, find the link, get in the Discord. Thank you so much for your support, mate. I really, really appreciate it. Go on, I was going to say 2 and 1 after the first day, Dave. So must have been pretty happy with that one. Nice.
Especially with never playing on this terrain, having tons of tanks, and also not practicing this list at all.
Yeah, literally zero practice. We don't practice over here. We just full send it straight into the hot to the fire as well itself. So you get your pairing in the night, don't you?
Yes, we did. Yes.
And you got an Admech, I believe, didn't you?
Yeah, we got Garrett Stacey as well.
Yeah, so not just any Admech player. So this is Garrett Stacey was the thief of my crown last year,
and who knows Death Guard really, really well.
He does know Death Guard really well.
Obviously,
he's a good player.
What were you going to say before? Sorry, I think we.
No, I was literally just going to jump in and just be like, so we've got to sort of the end of day 1. I was just going to sort of lead into sort of
now. Yeah. So I play Garrett Stacey, and he's got I think 160 models on the table.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
And it's all on the line, and I'm like, I'm not putting. So I set up all my guns on the line. I'm like, this is who goes first. Because I'm like, if I go first, I'm deleting a third of your army, and if you go first, you're going to just basically pin me in my deployment zone for 3 turns, which is what happened. He went first, so he obviously had lots of infiltrating units. So he charged in. I was overwatching stuff like with Death Shroud, like clearing bits out. I killed 140 of the 160 models. In the game, his dead pile was just literally like a mound of plastic models.
He actually sent me a message, Dave, about what he. There you go. He said he put. I think Dave killed something like 239 wounds after I counted it.
It was absolutely mental. It was like you could see that after 10-1 he came into me and I shot a ton of his stuff out, and he was obviously then going to get to move again. You could see that once it happened the second time and I deleted the next wave, that both of us started to get a bit like, this can't keep happening now because so much of it is off the table. But it was a really fun game. We played. It was one of those games, when you play with somebody and you both know your armies, and you're literally just rolling dice, being like, I'm shooting this, it's this AP, and the other person's like, right, yeah, I save it or I miss it. And we were done 50 minutes early, even with 100 that many models on the table. So big thanks to Garrett for playing at speed with that many models. And it was a great game, and it was only 6 points in it. Sorry, 7 points.
Wow.
So
Nice.
yeah, even with that happening, I really managed to push the game back from like turn 3 and basically get aggressive with the vehicles. The plague burst crawlers, the Death Shroud were great. The Death Shroud, by the way, were great in every game. In at least 2 games, they probably killed 700 to 900 points of models, one squad. And I literally made all my charges the entire event with them. Like, it was horrendous, and some of them were quite long. I think I made 3 10-inch charges across 2 games with them. I made an 11 out of deep strike. I made another 10 out of deep strike. They just went off. It's the next game where they really went to town. But that was a 86 win for Garrett and a 79 loss for me. So top of the day. Never played AdMech before either, by the way. So I was on new terrain, haven't played before, haven't played AdMech, and so for a 7-point loss, and it's a number 7, so that's perfectly acceptable. It was really good. Yeah, good game.
Nice. So there's two left then. So are you 2-2 at this point?
2-2 at this point. Yep. And so I'm like, want to obviously go into I think I said to start with, like, if I'm going to it at 3-3, totally cool, but I'd like a positive kind of win rate, and I'm starting to get a feel for the armor into these different armies now. So then getting to round 5, and I get the pairings, and it's AdMech again. And this one's got a load of the Cataphrone breaches in it. I think there are 3 squads of them, and it's got 2 Dune crawlers, which are like, big damage, and he's got, he's able to stealth stuff. But this was a very different game. So this one, I set up, got all these great firing lanes, basically set myself up to be as hidden as possible. I reserved the play bus on this one. I pushed cultists onto it. I have a play bus as well. Play bus went off loads as well.
I was about to say plague bus check. Plague bus check. Did it do good?
Plague bus check. Yeah, plague bus did plague bus stuff.
Nice.
So I set my tanks up. Basically, this is the map where you can generate objectives.
Oh,
So
ritual, God, yeah.
Yeah, so I've basically then got some. So I then got some cultists behind a wall that just basically go. I get 10-1. They go through the wall. They
Did you
tail
do the
back.
trick?
Did I do the
trick?
Probably not, because I've never ever played this mission.
You can set the objectives up and then beyond them. Like, if you set it up and then stretch the unit out, you can set it up and then the objective comes under the other end of the unit. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I get what you're saying. It didn't, but I created 2 objective markers in no man's land near my side, which was kind of easy. And then I had some cultists in the middle, which he had to come through and kill. So he sent some, because Cataphrons have got infantry keywords, so that was quite happy about that with my list, given Predators are getting plus AP, and then I'm playing -1 save, so I'm getting extra AP into stuff. So into that one I played -1 weapon skill, ballistic skill, because everything's a like 4-up, 5-up saves. But he puts Cataphrons on the middle. The Death Shroud just goes straight through the wall from behind another building on an 11-inch charge, and kill the Cataphron unit outright. Ooh. He puts another unit through the wall and is using them to score established locus. And he's like, do you want to Overwatch them? I'm like, no, they can stay there, that's fine. And so I'm like, they're not doing an action. then he tries to fall them back. The Death Shroud overwatch them and kill all of them. In another turn, the Death Shroud goes through the wall again because the Cataphrons fail a charge into them. They fail like a 6-inch charge. So I then make a charge through the wall and kill another unit of Cataphrons with them. The Death Shroud are now hanging around outside his home objective on one of the ones he's created. The tanks have killed one of the Dune Crawlers at the bottom. He keeps stealthing this one at the top, which I can't kill. Sorry, he didn't. I wounded the one at the bottom. So I'm like getting really annoyed that my tanks won't kill this Dune Crawler. So I measure it out, and this is turn 3, and I'm like, right, Typhus comes out from behind the building, moves his full movement. I need a 4 and an advance to be within 18 to mortal wound it, and it's got 3 wounds left. So I go, I'm going to do it. I bring Typhus out. I put Typhus into the line. I roll a 3 on the advance. I'm like, CP reroll, roll a 4 to get it, and then Typhus does 3 mortal wounds and just kills him.
Nice.
And I was like, I'm like, good man. And then now Typhus is standing on an objective as well. The bottom one, so by now I've basically pretty much tabled most of his army. He's trying to do a secret mission, so he needs to be on 3. So he's on one of his own ones. He's on his home one and needs to get on the middle. He's got a small unit of what would they be called? Like whatever one of the more basic units of like the rifle kind of guys are, and he's like, right, I'm gonna use a proper strat and move. Yeah, it may have been Skitarii, yeah. He goes, I'm gonna pop a strat, it's gonna let me get extra movement. I'm like, if you move them, I'm gonna overwatch them with the Death Shroud. And there was like 5 of them left, so I'm like, they're going to be dead. So he's like, okay, he's like, I'm not doing that. So he's like, right, he shoots the Dune Crawler in the previous turn, by the way, blows up the Plague Bus, and obviously I then get 2 Malignant Plague Casters out. This actually is what ruined this play, because now he basically then moves the Dune Crawler towards the middle, and basically charges one of my Plague Casters, which is this side of a wall. The other one is this side of the wall. So he charges it, being like, well, I'm just going to kill it with Tank Shock. So he charges it, and I heroically intervene with the other Malignant Plaguecaster. So he's got 2 activations to deal with now. So he kills one of them with the Tank Shock, but then doesn't do any wounds to it with melee.
Yeah.
And then he's stuck in combat and he can't move. And that was a bottom of 5, so he then couldn't get onto the middle. But that one little Plaguecaster hopping through the wall.
Was there a wall separating them as well?
Yeah, so no, as in like
you can tag a vehicle that can't shoot you because you're in combat, but the wall is still there, so it can't see you.
But I just heroic through the wall. And he had 2 activations, so he couldn't shoot it anyway because this was the charge phase. So it was a nice little play to just kind of tie it up and then be like, that was done. So that was that game. So Eddie, thank you very much for the game. If you happen to watch this, it was really fun. That was an 80 win to 43 loss.
Nice.
So I won 80 to 43.
So what happened in the final game then? What was because obviously at this point the dream was on, isn't it? You're 1 win away from
from a nice 4-2, which I genuinely was really happy to get. So I'm on then table 164 and playing somebody called Joshua Henson who's playing Space Marines. So I'm like, this could be a bit rough.
What flavour of Space Marine?
He's playing them as Raven Guard and Vanguard.
Like Gladiator? Okay, yeah.
So he goes through all his stuff and he's like, I've got this person who's got loan up, I've got this person who's, there was like a million things that could do stuff. It was like, there's some hell blasters in there. I was just like, cool. I did the usual speech of, look, I trust that you know your army. I'll ask you some questions, blah blah blah. I took -1 save in this one, and we had an amazing game as well. Like it was really fun. His dice, he very early on in round 1, but before I get into it, his dice were really cold. So I basically was like, start rolling mine for a joke, and then he rolled in 6 dice. I rolled 5 6s. Then he was like, okay, cool. So we ended up just using mine for the whole game. It was funny. But the deployment was. He went first. He put the lieutenant onto an objective. It was a big diagonal. So at the very bottom, I basically put due to deployment ways. I had a Plague Burst Crawler right at the bottom. I had 2 Predators behind it. I had drones on the mid. I had Death Shroud kind of like mid as well. I kept pretty much everything on the table. And when I then got to go, moving the Plague Burst Crawler with 2 entropy cannons 10 inches forward got me inside 12 inches of lone op to kill his character straight away. So I shot. It was a silly character because he was trying to terraform. So I shot it with 2 entropy cannons and a more blew it off the table. Then I had line of sight into a little unit at the back of like normal Marines, which the mortar went into, and that picked up a load. The 2 Predators could see them, and that deleted another unit off the back. The Hellblasters came down in the next turn. The Plague Bus just scooted up and did put 17 into them and just annihilated like the whole lot. Death Shroud kind of went through the middle, tagging stuff and killing it. By the time we got to like pretty much turn 3, it was like critically over. I mean, he had 2 thunder strikes, which, to be fair, because they were at one point, we actually noticed in turn 2 that he'd actually hadn't moved them because the bases were on the table, but the models weren't on the bases. So neither of us noticed them. I was like, so like, make sure they came forward. He moved them behind a wall. Off of there's like basically had a wall, center objective, and another wall. The Death Shroud went straight through the wall and got on a 10-inch, 11-inch charge and killed both of the thunder strikes. Like just in between being splitting their attacks. So it was kind of it was quite messy towards the end. But the we kind of talked out the very last turn and did that, and that was an 80-40 win for Death Guard into those of us. So the high volume of gunfire was just horrendous. It was like anything that I could see was getting deleted. Plague Bolters were unbelievably efficient at this event. Plague Bear Crawlers were amazing at this event. Even doing indirect, I was just either weakening units that I needed to, or they were just taking units down to like 1 or 2 models on a home objective, which then when something like Purge to Foe meant easy pickup and easy score. They were a lot of fun to have back in the list. I agree with what you said in WhatsApp, Will, about 180 points still feels egregious for them, but I used them quite aggressively in the games. I was pushing them up into stuff and giving people so much to shoot at, so much high toughness armor that it was very hard for anybody to make effective decisions into it. So that it was good. And when you've got like a Plague Bear Crawler in front, kind of blocking stuff, and then you've got a drone floating around behind it somewhere that can fly over it, and then you've got Predators that are sat into the firing lanes. It's kind of your ability to have redundant firing into multiple targets as well was really effective.
So I've got a question then, because this is something we can maybe sort of lead into, the other sort of lists and things like that did well. So, because drones, this links to your game. So, drones and PBCs in a similar thing, but opposite end of the scale to me. Drones are so unreliable at killing anything.
They've got heavy blight launchers on them. They're not.
I suppose so. Yeah.
They were picking up Marines. That thing was picking up Marines and bodies left, right, and centre at 36 inches with 2 damage.
Because the Spitters are so unreliable. But then my point I was going to make was, at 90 points they're fine to be unreliable because they're so cheap. Whereas Plague Bear Crawlers are so unreliable. 180 points, I feel like, just wish they should be. If 165 is right, but the PBCs obviously bring something so unique to the table to us that maybe that is valuable. But I just wondered, what you'd found with the drones. But you said so you found the heavy blight launchers to be really good then.
Basically, the heavy blight launcher was like because everything's fast, right? Usually, if you put a couple of drones into a traditional Death Guard list, they're there for speed. But in this case, everything was fast. Everything was moving 10, 12 inches. So the drones didn't need to be the things always that were going to have to be thrown forwards to sit on a point somewhere. So I was actually able to use like the heavy blight launcher to float around and shoot stuff and actually put long distance shooting into stuff as well and finish things off. So I'd often shoot a lot of the other weapons on the Predator Destructors first, and then if I needed to finish something off, I'd plink those extra 2 wounds into stuff, and then you've got them, whilst it can be unreliable out of indirect, if I needed to shoot indirect, then you've got a mortar to even more so finish off little bits, and it gave you a great utility to kind of do that. And in the Skitarii game, the Admech game, when you're tagged with stuff, the Spitters are really, really reliable to shoot in. To kind of help clear stuff off, and you've got fullback shooting charge as well, which I absolutely forgot, but that would have been really helpful if I'd remembered that. I mean, Don just said, heavy blight launcher is the truth. It certainly is. Amen, brother. The blight hauler didn't really do anything for me. I definitely would have immediately dropped that for something else. Yeah, didn't need it at all. It was.
So I found the complete opposite with them. I found the blight haulers.
You didn't have as much other armor and tanks as I had. So in a list that's got less of that, I would totally agree with you. But I would say when
I ran the vehicle skew, I found
okay.
The drones were disappointing, I found. But it's only because they don't roll a lot of shots. So like as soon as you come against a 2-wound infantry unit, like you need you just need a lot of shots to chew through them.
Even 12, if they all go through, kills 6.
yeah, that's it. You know, they're not, but they are also, you know, they are still good. There was times when they were good, so it's just more of an interesting point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can also see what you mean with the Blight Hauler. They sort of sometimes they just pop off, and other times they just do nothing. They are kind of, but they're like the bloat drones. So for 90 points, they're just sort of like, well, it's fine. Whereas PBC's at 180. Sometimes they do nothing, and it's the most frustrating thing. Again, they've got the spitter problem where if you just roll 3 or 4 shots, you just feel a bit like, ugh. But then other times they do, you know, the mortar just picks up a whole 5-man unit in one interaction. And you're like, okay, you know, I see why this is here. So I think they're useful. So
I can say, but we just give you a couple of final points from the event where the armor list I found it anyway was really good fun. It was definitely the right call to take to the event for me. In terms of I could absolutely see, like, as in not taking 18 Dash Shroud was definitely would not have been the right thing. I didn't miss Mortarion at all in any of my games.
I wanted to ask this because what I'm going to do is in a second I'm going to look at the other guys' lists because I'm just being conscious of time. But one thing I want to talk about was one was the inclusion of PBCs because we'll see another guy on here. Hans has PBCs as well. And you obviously don't have a Mortarion. There's a big discussion going on with Mortarion, especially for like certain things. Because some people love him, some people hate him. He's coming like Marmite. He's coming Marmite Tarion at the moment. But very quickly as well, thank you Green Shadow 42 for coming to Plague Marine, mate. Officially joining Chaos, your first event with Death Guys, and second the 22nd of the second.
Amazing.
Hope you best of luck with that, mate. I hope you just enjoy yourself and enjoy the army that is Death Guard, and do us proud.
Get in the Discord and chuck your list in there, and people can talk to you about it as well.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I'd say. The other thing I'd say is on this event, at this event, the middle was like we all thought it would be. The middle was death zone.
Yeah.
Like, no, don't go into the middle unless you're going to be really safe in there with something that's going to be able to tank a load of stuff like 6 Dash Round, but it was a complete murder zone.
Right. So
I really enjoyed the PBCs being back in there. So what list looks like that isn't this with them in it? We've got lots of examples now thanks to LVO, but it'd be interesting to see what some other lists are. But in my matchups, the overwhelming volume of firepower mitigated the need for Mortarion.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, so while Aiden's bringing that up, so I'll make my point about more time, which is kind of a good one, I think, to sort of to expand the conversation. So I found with Mortarion, there are games when he is like, my God, this guy's a fucking baller. Like, he is MVP. There are other games when he's the biggest disaster, and if we're using the sports reference, he is dropped the following week. He is on the bench and might be lucky to even get a fucking paycheck. That's the way he goes. And like, I'm coming to the conclusion where 300 points, I put in our chat, 2 5-man Plague Marines, a Rhino, and you're left with 45 points. It could be a Tallyman, or it could be, anything. 45 points spent elsewhere. Those 2 5-man Plague Marines are 2 reliable turns of primary denial you don't even need to roll dice for. They get out the Rhino, they move 8 inches, it's 10 OC and a point. If there isn't 10 OC on the other side, that's points in the bag. Whereas I'm starting to think that actually, as much as Mortarion can be an absolute yes Mortarion, it can also be a complete disaster, and I think that reliable 300 points spent elsewhere is probably actually the more competitive way to do it, unless you're building a toughness skew where it's like, I want all the T12, all the armour, do you know what I mean? Because I find more time is 300 points of 5 fast-moving OC that's really good at killing chaff and is whiffy into anything else. So I don't know what your thoughts are, Ian, because obviously I know maybe
Morty's weird. Morty just made in sometimes, because sometimes he's really good, but then like yesterday I played a game of TTS and 2 5-man squads of Stern Guard, not even like a combined squad of 10, with oaths, but it wasn't even the +1 to wound oaths because he was playing Black Templars. They put 11 dev wounds on Morty, just like that, just gone. I was like, cool. Morty like died like the next turn, like instantly, from some bolters. I was like, oh okay, that's a thing. Every time I've played Flyblown Host, he's died kind of early, which is kind of the point. I get it in Flyblown Host, but like, I've then managed to win the game without him.
Yep.
And the whole reason he's in Flyblown Host is to like ignore stuff like armor of contempt and give me some actual damage in the list, and then like he just dies, never really connects. Part of one game in the Admech where he actually went on a fucking spree. The 6 OC is nice, admittedly.
5 or 6.
6.
6.
Is it?
Yeah, it's 6.
He's 6
I've
for
been playing it as fucking 5.
You've been scamming yourself, sir.
He's definitely 6.
So, but
Oh,
I do like the real ones aura, and I do like ignoring mods. I think with armor contempt change, I think especially heavy shooting lists, his ignore mods isn't as needed but this is a weird thing. 40k is so strange because, for example, I watched Tofu Bolt's game against the Tyranids, and he had a single unit of Venom Thropes, giving this entire army that was spread out across the entire board stealth. And if you don't have Morty, then his shooting's way more inefficient against it.
Yeah.
But because Morty was there, like that, and that's so mad that one three model unit can basically fly blown holes passive to an entire Nid army. But that really like helped him out and sort of like kill them. And sometimes he can punch, and again sometimes it baits people into overcommand. So I'm not too sure I'm going to drop him yet, because I do like him for like him just being annoying. And there are games when he just like 4-up someone. He's just like, cool, you exposed everything you shot and all your important guns hit the 4 pinball and bounced, like GG son. But I also get what you mean, like sometimes those 300 points like spent elsewhere, probably like a safer game.
Do you know what the biggest summary of Morty is how many times in the last few things you've used the word sometimes? Because that's the thing with Morty. Sometimes he can be, sometimes he can be, sometimes he can be. I just mean that's a really good summary, because sometimes he can be amazing, but then there are other units where the sometimes isn't necessarily a part of it, which is where I'm coming to. You know, like the Plague Marine example. It's not like sometimes the Plague Marine stand and take a point with 10 OC and deny them primary. Usually that happens, if that makes sense.
Well,
which is where I'm sort of thinking in the point equivalent. But that's just an example. But I also see the Morty thing, you know. I think it's a funny one. I think there's a real conversation to be had, and I think it depends what else is in the list, you know, to some large extent.
I think the other thing is right now, because I've got the 4 top LVO placings with Death Guard up. If we look through the list, one of them doesn't have Morty, 3 of them do. I think honestly the answer is not do you take Morty, do you drop Morty. I genuinely think it like, and one thing you'll notice, again this is still on topic, don't worry, I'm not just changed sentence midway. All these lists are very different. Very different. Death Guard right now, your player skill and how you play your list and your play style matters far more than a meta build. I genuinely believe that. Don Houston just took double Crab Nation, Crabpocalypse, Crab Cabal. We're all in the chat spamming. It was really funny. And that.
Tell you what, at the end of the video, should we share the LVO list in the description as well for the people who are watching? I actually haven't seen some of them as well. That might be a cool thing to do.
I can probably just.
Should we just put them in the Discord?
Someone see if you can click that link.
Put them on the video.
I'll put it in chat.
In the description, then people can.
See if people can
come to the video to find them.
Try and click that link in chat. See if you can. Let's see, because that'll show you all that'll pull up all the placings. I'm not sure if you need a subscription or not, but.
Yeah, you might do. I'm just going that comes up, but that's the entire roster.
Yeah, so if you just filter to Death Guard, you on the places, you just type in Death Guard, you'll just get Death Guard.
You've got to have a BCP subscription to see the list.
Right, so I can try and. I mean, what the idea is, I'm going to speak to is because like most of them are in our Discord anyway, so we're going to get them on and speak to them. Yeah. So that's why we're not doing a big breakdown today of the list. We're going to look at the lists and just things took, but I'm going to let them tell us all about why they took what they did and the breakdowns of it. It's going to be far more important that way. So like we said, we've got Don Houston bringing up the highest ranked Death Guard. So again, congratulations, well done with this crazy double Defiler build. He's also got Plague Bus. He is rocking Mortarion.
People.
A solo Typhus. So we got the Rhino just to carry on the Plague Bus, so I'm glad he likes Plague Bus. Double Defiler, triple Predator Destructor, 1 squad Death Shot Terminators, 2 Fetid Blood Heavy Blight Launchers, 3 Mythic Blight Haulers, and basically, I'm actually genuinely seeing more and more that some of the lists that are doing well for Death Guard have a lot more shooting than they do melee. And I think a lot of people think that Death Guard's a melee army, and I hear that all the time. Oh, Death Guard's a melee army. Mate, have you seen Death Guard shooting when it gets the -1 save on you? It's horrific. So,
I can tell you that a couple of my opponents were like, "How many guns have you got in this?" Because by the time into the second day, people are often not even properly looking at the list. They're just like, "Oh, I've got to get to the table because it takes so long for the pairings to come up." and then you're just like literally was like just pulling tank after tank after tank onto the table.
I just saw Don Houston getting gifted a membership from Blaze Chicken. Thank you so much, Blaze Chicken. And Lucientes as well. Thank you for coming and playing Marine, mate. That's quite funny. So, like, Don's rocking, again, we see a lot of vehicles. Again, I'm not going to go into depth now. We're going to get the people... we're going to open people on. Plague Buster in the chopping block, fair enough. Like, I can see that on this kind of list. You probably just go for more guns, I'm going to guess. Or like another Defiler, maybe. But, like, so Don's running a very mech heavy. Then we've got Jeffrey Stenquist, who is the one that is not running a Mortarion. So he's got a Death Guard Chaos Lord, interesting. Biologist Putrefier, Sorcerer and Terminator Armor, Foul Blightspawn. So it's like he's got a Biologist Foul Blightspawn combo, Tallyman Typhus. He's gone... this is the 25 Plague Marine list. He's got 2 10-mans and a 5-man Plague Marine squad. Triple Rhino. 2 Predator Annihilators for 90 tank. Now, this is another thing I'm noticing. I'm actually liking 3-man Death Shrouds way more than 6-mans, personally, at the moment. I think the Lord of Contagion squads are just, like, so good at slapping stuff.
They're so efficient.
They're just so good and so efficient. So I'm like way more into them at the moment. So that's something I'm going to be thinking about going forward. 2 bloat drones, and then it's this mass MSU of like demon engines. Another five demon engines here, supported by like predators. 10 pots to hold home. So we've seen quite a lot of lists bringing like quite a lot of solo demon engines, which is nice to see. Yeah. So that's Don's crab list. Then we've got the next one. We've got Biologist Putrefier, Foul Blightspawn, Mortarion. The list is called Trips. I think this is Hans. Yeah, this is Hans. This is Tofu Bolts. So he's going to be on to speak about his as well. So he's got a squad of 10 Plague Marines. So two of the lists so far are keeping these 10 Plague Marine squads. Tofu, let us know in chat if that's something you're looking to keep, or do you think that was somewhat... Because obviously we've gone back and forth on Plague Marines being quite expensive, but they do obviously still serve an important job. So we got a Rhino, 2 units of Cultists, double Predator Destructor. This one also rocking 3 Plague Burst Crawls, 2 with the Flamers, 1 with the Entropy, going alongside the 2 Predators. This is a 2 Predator, 3 Plague Burst Crawl. This is very similar to like something I used to play with, like 1 big brick to hold natural, Destructors combined with... I used to run 2 PBC, 2 Destructor, but I always missed the third one just for the reliability, as you said, Will. Like, 2 PBCs can roll low. The third one tends to often like even out the numbers more often than not. And again, triple Demon Engine of the Fetid Bloat Drone, so... And then even a Brigand in this one to bring up the rate. I know you like your War Dogs, Will.
Yeah, I think a single. I mean, I would take a Carnivore if I was taking one over a Brigand. But then if you've got 20 points, 25 points, that's at the end of the list. I mean, Brigands are also pretty good. They're both fixed problems.
Yeah, they do. So these are all 2,000 points, Rob Hump. So this one here again. So it's a bit of a mix. It does have Mortarion. It has I think like the most staple units right now probably have the Predators, aren't they, Will? Like, Predators are showing up pretty much in most lists.
Anything apart from Flyborn is where Predators are good. Like, that was one of the things I took away from running Nathan Roberts' sort of Demon Engine list of teams. I was sold again on Predators. I'd fallen out of love with them a little bit.
Yeah.
But they were really good. So, yeah, I think that's a staple in it, really. The Annihilator is popping up more and more as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I only own 3, but I might buy 3 more Predators. I've been debating it. But yeah, I mean, like, I think Mortarion, just before you go to the next one, he makes sense in these lists because as much as like when you look at them, there's also a lot of holes with the shooting.
Yeah.
So I think if you're going to go down that route, it does make sense. But if like you give your Flyborn example, if Mortarion is the only big tank effectively in your list, it's basically... He's going to die extra quick because all their anti-tank guns, like no one's going to shoot a las gun into a Poxwalker, do you know what I mean? Fair play, they might shoot it into a Death Shroud, but you're shooting into more time before then.
Yeah.
Mortarion's tanky, but he's not that tanky, is the reality.
Yeah.
Like, only a couple of misplaced 4+ invuns, you know, a roll of a 6 on their damage, and, you know, all of a sudden, he's only got 16 wounds, it very quickly starts to sort of spiral.
Yeah, it can really get out of hand, and he can just basically drop dead out of nowhere. So I do get what you mean, yeah.
But yeah, so what was in the next list then?
So this one's weird as fuck. So this is by Hex Fleet Virals, someone I used to follow. I still do follow one.
Oh yeah, I saw this one. It's got the big knight in it.
Yeah, I am so confused. But I mean, I'm happy. I'm glad to see it once again proving that your player skill matters a lot more. So we got a Death Guard Sorcerer and Terminator Armor with Deadly Pathogen, Mortarion, Tallyman Typhus. Now he has gone for 12, so this is the most Death Shroud we've seen was 12. 2 squads of 6. So we do have 12 Death Shroud here. Again, this MSU Demon Engine, because even he's got 5, so MSU Demon Engine seems to be doing really well. I think these are also just super efficient into Oaths as well, because, like, you know, the Oaths one, kill it, cool, 90 points, like, sure, it's not like Morty just gets, like, insta-killed. And there is a Morty in it, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot easier to swallow a 90-point Demon Engine getting killed. But this right here, look, so we've got 20 Poxhawks as well, a Chaos Cerastus Knight Atropos, which I don't even know what that does.
He's good. He's good.
He's quite good. He's got this really interesting kind of like energy weapon.
He's basically it's big anti-tank, and then he shoots his anti-tank in combat as well. He has a combat profile, but you know, like the old Tau thing where they're like sort of, you know, they're their melt has become like a sword. Like in the lore, I think that's what he does. So he's like shooting his like laser sort of thing in combat, almost like a lightsaber or something. But it means he's got a big. He's only really good at taking out vehicles.
At the top right.
But he's very efficient at taking out vehicles.
You got
There's like a camera icon next to the name.
Oh yeah.
Click that and might give you the picture of it.
But I think in that list it makes sense with Morty. Like you have the Rotigus and Morty smash, but you know, like two T12 things standing next to each other. I think Morty makes of all the list, with the exception of Don's actually, because obviously Don's was also kind of a bit of a stats check. I think this is the one where Morty makes the absolute most sense. And I think it'd be hard to drop whilst keeping that big knight in there, I would have thought.
Okay, I actually quite like this because it's hitting on 2s versus the things it wants to kill, because this list is he's basically the anti-tank. It's hitting on 2s with his Graviton Singular. The shots is a bit worrying, it's only D3 shots, but it is hitting on 2s at strength 16, AP 5 if you get Contagion on range, D6 plus 1 damage. Like that can be quite scary, and even the other one.
He's got 2 guns.
Oh, right, got D6 from
this. One of his guns.
D6 with sustain at flat 4 each, and that can be AP 4. Okay. And then in melee. Oh, okay.
It's like 400 and something points. Is it like 430, 425?
And it has got a 2d6 strength 7. Yes, it's AP 1, AP 2, and contagion flat 2 as well with sustained.
That's nice. Oh, and it has an invuln in melee. Oh.
Yeah. Like it's like if you're gonna take a knight, it's definitely the one I'd probably
also
consider.
420 points.
Yeah, like for a laugh, I wrote a list, you know, and you just like you're bored on the train or something with Mortarion, one of them, and Rotigus, just for a laugh. Never run it, but the kind of thing where, you know, 3 big toughness 12 things running around. Obviously, he's proven that it works with 2, but I think it's a unique list. I think it's a kind of list where it could all unravel very quickly if you play the wrong opponent. I mean, a competent Space Marine player with 3 Vindicators, I imagine just.
I was hearing horror stories all weekend from people about Vindicators.
Yeah, given that this thing's also
what they were doing to people.
I came up against Mike. So Mike Duff's a local guy in our local meta. He's like a sort of consistent 4-1 guy, pushes the 5-0 sometimes. He's always or regularly around the podium of events. So we played him at teams. I got paired into him. He was running like the nasty Ultramarines Iron Storm list with double oath, you know, Calgar, 3 Vindicators. And I was amazed at how easily the Vindicators picked up more time. Like 1 Vindicator, you just re-roll the number of shots. I think he got 5 or 6 shots. Obviously re-rolling hits, so pretty much everything hits. And he's like, I wound on 2s. What, you wound on 2s? And I was like, yeah. So then, obviously, you just have to feel like 3 or 4 of the saves. You know, he spiked the damage a little bit, and Mortarion just evaporated. Like it's just one vehicle shot him once, and he was gone. Like it was. And that was just 1 vehicle, and so the example of like, you know, double oath, if you double oath, you know, Mortarion and the knight, it could be a sad day in the office, but that's parents, isn't it? At the same time, you could argue that the 10 Plague Marines is a big risk as well, because at the same time, if they bought 3 Whirlwinds and the Orphea Plague Marines, they're not long for this world either. I think Space Marines are a bit too good at the moment. I think having played them a few times now, I think Space Marines.
The new oaths is a bit silly.
They need just change it to like infantry, bolt guns only. It's still strong, don't get me wrong, but at least it's kind of like in the place trying to fix it, trying to make their infantry better, not Vindicators. But anyway, I don't want to, you know.
Who wants to say thank you to the latest member that's joined?
Go on, Will.
I'll have to look at the chat.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Matty Wheatos, what?
No, that one. No,
No,
that's
no,
no. Go on, Dave. I'll let you go for
We
it.
are going to say a big thank you to Fat Old Asian Man for becoming a Plague Marine. Thank you very much for joining.
There you go.
And
Sorry, I
assume-
just scrolled up to see that.
but I assume what you were also going through. Sorry, I had to drop out there. Food has just turned up, but is the variety of lists, right?
Yeah. We were just talking about right. Listen, we're looking at the last one from the Hex Fleet fellow, and just talking about how the two T12 things sort of Morty makes a lot of sense in that particular build. I think because of one helps the other kind of thing. So it's like which ones you shoot at, the other ones hopefully living. But I mean.
It's been a good showing by Death Guard, right?
Oh yeah,
very much so.
Like, very much a good performance, a good showing. So well done to everybody that took part and represented the faction.
I mean, we had Death Guard in 9th, 12th, 14th, and then 44th place. Like top 15, 3 Death Guard. That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, considering that we were 41 of 1,100 players.
Yeah, and we were also considered a mid-tier army on the LVO predictions. So. Absolutely incredible showing from everyone there. We're going to get these people on as well. So that's the reason we're not going too in depth tonight, because we're going to save that content for when I can get them on. Because I don't want to get them all in one night as well. Because again, these people I want to know quite a bit. I don't want to be like, here's 10 minutes, go, because there'll be more to talk about in 10 minutes than that. But I mean, to see the variety in it as well. It's not just one list doing well with small little changes. Like the lists are very different. Like not even remotely close. It's a bit weird, but I'm taking some inspiration from this. Flyblown, by the way, did not show up. I just checked all the way down to 313th place and still had no Flyblown there.
I think Flyborn is. I mean, we talked about this in the chat. I think Flyborn is just a stats check. Flyborn, I think, is the other end of the armor stat check. It's playing the same game, but there are some armies that can tell, like Space Marines with 2. What's the Gladiator? The one that has all the shot. The Gladiator Reaper.
Yeah.
Space Marine list with 2 of them. I don't think it's going to go well for Flyborn with the 60 Poxwalkers. Votan with the bikes have got the right profile and the right number of shots, especially if they've done a grudge token on them. Chaos Knights with 6 Brigands. That's a rough day in the office for that list.
I think there's no problem, to be honest, as well. And you've alluded to it in a previous episode, Will. And people like Donus and stuff has played, and it all happened on TTS last night. I played against one of our community members on TTS. He was playing Black Templars. I was playing Flyblown. And everyone I played at the RTT played against me in Flyblown kind of as if I was Plague Company. They really respected it because they still believed the idea if I'm in 12, I'm going to die because it's Death Guard. Mm-hmm. Because I was playing against a Death Guard player who understands Flyblown and loses all its damage, he and his Black Templars just paid me no respect.
Just ran at you,
and just ran at me. Yeah. And his Sword Brethren squad just wiped out so much. By the end of it, all I had left was 20 Poxwalkers and Typhus, another 10-man Pox, 8 Poxwalkers, a Noxious Blightbringer, and that was it. Now, still managed to win it, but this was his first time on Black Templars, and not my first time on Flyblown. So it's a bit of a realization of, if someone actually just goes to kill you, they'll just kill you. And the problem is, even if they don't, because he came out, he did a lot of Devil Rings to Morty, and then he killed stuff. Even when I made all my charges, and I went in hard on him, I got a 6-man Death Shroud made a charge, 2-man Poxwalkers made a charge, Morty made a charge. Morty killed the squad he touched, fair enough. The Death Shroud, without the AP, couldn't even fully kill a squad because he just armor attempts it and then AP won. Wow.
I think, like I say, I think Flyborn is just a status check. I think you're in the pairing lottery, and we sort of. There are things. Like I said, I think Flyborn could work with 3 Brigands. I think if you put the Lorn up thing on, it's got a Death Shroud, then it can cause a Brigand step out and horse down the big thing. I haven't played it, but that's something that we can look at in a future episode.
I can tell you playing Plague Company here at this, where I had the ability to make which I knew and met were going to be all up in my face, to take -1 ballistic skill, weapon skill, the ability to do that to the World Eaters, and then in other games like Marines, just to add on that extra AP to just make sure whatever I was shooting was dying, was so was just so powerful.
Yeah, the fact because because there was a point where I charged into like Hellbrecht, and my Lord of Contagion swung, and even the Lord of Contagion with the AP2 just down to AP1 if you want Star of Contempt. Like, I only killed like 3 of the Sword Brethren.
Yeah.
And then in his turn, because I hadn't killed in one turn, his unit has fallback and charge, so he just falls back, charge back in, wipes me out. And because I don't have access to the -1 damage either, I can't like stack that. And my Sorcerer failed his 2-up, and I didn't have a backup because I couldn't use a strat. So I was like, cool, I just die. So it was really cool to see. Like I said, I managed to win it just by 15 from just denying primary, which is the thing Flygon does. But it has really put me off it, and I'm not sure if I'm going to take it to teams in ITT because I don't know if I want to be that liability in the team that has, if we come against the good teams, the good players are going to know I don't have to respect that damage.
I think Plague Marines jumping out of Rhinos is more reliable if you're just going to play like a point scoring primary denial list personally, and I think it's probably a lot less taxing on your on your thought process, if that makes sense as well. A lot less models to move around. The game's a lot simpler. And there might be arguments why Flyborn is better still, but I think if you're just running like a list that like scores points, 30 Plague Marines jumping out of Rhinos,
I think you could probably still
your
do
own
better
flavour behind it.
Because like, you can even take -1 OC in that. If you want to play just pure objectives, you can take -1 OC leadership, have Plague Marines. 5-man Plague Marine then can take off a point off 20 guardsmen. Well, at least, hold them to a draw because they go down to 1 each. You kill a single guy, cool, you hold it now. It's.
I mean, if you do that, like I say, I don't want to start the episode again in terms, I know Dave's going to go off, but if you do that, put bubonic ones instead of heavy ones on half of them, and then that one you actually kill a lot of the guardsmen. You can engage with them between your weapons and actually chew through them. Like Plague Marines are, I think. So a small hot take just before we move into the Codex. So I played my Porter on one of the teams, and we had a very brief conversation afterwards about what does he think the best Death Guard build is, and he sort of alluded he thinks Plague Marines jumping out of Rhinos with stuff behind it. Because you got to remember 30 Plague Marines jumping out of Rhinos is still like, I don't even think it's 1,000 points. It's like 700 points or something. 800 and something in it. So like, do you know what I mean? That might be the way to go. Then build your own adventure behind it. I mean, it might have been saying because you knew I've been previously playing 30 player base. It might have been just sort of 10 what I wanted to hear.
I think Mike would probably just tell you what he thinks.
Yeah, so at the same time, that's probably some food for thought for people to take. Because a lot of these builds that we're seeing, the bits that people are liking, say Don Hewson's builds, drop Mortarion and a couple of other bits, smashing 30 player brings and some Rhinos, your list still probably functions the same, just with more primary denial.
There's a really important thing you're forgetting about Plague Marines as well.
What's that?
And that's that they like to comment and subscribe.
Oh, I like that. So, obviously, Aidan did a stream on Friday about the Codex coming as well, which is something that I think we're all excited about. Kind of made me eat my words about I didn't think that we'd get all the 4 power armored ones.
I was always going to text you. I was always going to WhatsApp you being like,
yeah,
it is coming out.
It looks like, but I mean, the back-to-back one's a bit insane. It's also a bit of a tell. I mean, I feel like the back-to-back is the nail in the coffin for demons.
Yes, I
surely.
agree.
Oh yeah, it's done. It's like
Yeah, surely they would space them out if demons were still a thing. Surely they're just giving it the short, sharp shop with demons players. It's like,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. But they've got the demons attachments, so surely they'll stay relevant for the edition. I imagine they're going to do what Beastman got in in AOS, where it's
they'll
like
be usable, but no, you
yeah,
get
you're
dropped.
Like you're on notice.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Aidan's already talked about it in depth. All I wanted to say about it was, I'm just really excited. It's on the horizon.
Yeah, so
it's really nice to know that it's there. And the interest. I think the interest bit is looking at the. I just can't wait to dive into it and see what's going to be in. And when we're probably only talking. So what is World Eaters is April?
It's hard to tell, isn't it, when it comes to months.
But it's
World
Easter,
Easter,
right? World Easter. So it's going to be like it's going to be end of March or April. So then we're going to have like probably June, July for the others.
Possibly. I mean, what I was going to say, their schedule's so unpredictable. I would not have predicted that Eldar were coming out so close to Guard. It might be sooner than that because Easter is a very wishy-washy. Like, it's not going to be Easter's in.
Yeah, it could be March. It could be April.
Yeah, like GW. You've also got to remember, you've got to definitely do the pinch of salt. For example, Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights have quietly just slipped off the roadmap, haven't they? So, you know what I mean? So it's not to say that a couple of these codices might quietly slip back a few months and not happen because it's. I imagine it's supply stuff. Just, I mean, we alluded in the episode. The Chaos Knights we know are getting some new bits because there's been that. They've done the classic, whether they did it on purpose or not. You know, another box has got like the inner slip with obviously the updated kit. So we know that. So is there a supply issue there? Has there been like a boxing problem or something? And it's like so they've kind of quietly just pushed some other things forward while they fix that in the back.
You
we
too
know
could follow Will's podcast, Doom Man, on.
Realistic man, that's what I'd say. I've the whole time I've been doing this.
It's really important because I'm always super optimistic. So we need balance in the world.
but I'm excited for it. I think.
Same.
I think that one of the things I'm really curious to see, and this is something a bit of a side note, I want to see how brave GW are with the Eldar book, because I think Eldar and Thousand Sons, for that book to have any meaning, they have to address the index detachment and tone it down so much that they can then put the points so the units can play in other detachments, because those detachments are so strong, everything's overpointed, and if there's any other detachment rules, or the Christmas one for Thousand Sons being an example, at the points they are now, when they've got the broken, over-strong attachment, those units don't fit anywhere else. So I want to see how brave they are with the Eldar one. Are they really going to toe down that index?
Yeah, I reckon they will.
Yeah, hopefully. Because then if they do that, then that kind of means they might be really brave with our one, and they might really look at the data sheet and need some work.
Did you read the article where it said that they're going to get now the Eldar are going to get a certain amount of points?
Yeah.
So this is making me think. So ages and ages and ages ago, the Vanguard guys all got together before 10th came out, and we put together a Google Doc sheet of what kind of would you see, like what would you like to see, what would you think. And one of the things that I think we talked about it off before I was fully on board with you guys was about plague dice, or like, you know, or whatever it was, and we were saying that you could use those to apply almost like because World Eaters had those dice, because there were fate dice, because there were miracle dice. And then, funny enough, me reading then this again, going, oh well, now they're going to get a certain amount of points, like Cabal points, to do things. Are we going to see that mechanic go even wider in these codexes coming?
Only time will tell.
Yeah,
we'll wait and see, won't we?
But
hopefully, those demons will come and they get some more movement tricks.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we get anything, obviously we'll be the first to tell you all about it. As soon as we find out anything on the channel. But we think we're all knowing it's coming, and it's got us a bit more reinvigorated. But I think for now, for going forward, I think we're gonna go back to Play Company for a bit. See the index out, because I'm not going to get a chance when that Codex comes out. And that Codex is coming out sooner than I thought. But it is time, guys. Mr. Dave's food has already been in the oven for 10 minutes. I don't want to make him hang around too long as well. So thanks for coming on, Dave, and thanks for giving us sort of like a little wrap of your LVO, and congratulations to everyone that's done really well here. So if you are in the Discord, guys, obviously Don, Hans, etc.
Legend.
Reach out to me. Just message me, ping me, something like that, and we'll arrange a time that we can get like an interview or get you guys on a stream. Because I'd really like to hear your list, talk about it and all that stuff, and I'm sure everyone else listening would find that interesting as well. But yeah, I mean, for now, anything else to go?
No, I mean, like I say, if I wanted to try some different list ideas, you know, was thinking, I'm not really particularly good with hull spam. Where might I go to get some help and encouragement? Maybe some coaching could be the best thing. Any services out there?
Well, funny enough, if you really like to be coached, especially from Death Guard, Aiden can coach you over at Vanguard Tactics. So please go and check those guys out on YouTube, on their website, vanguardtactics.com. There's an academy, there's masterclasses. You can get multiple battle reports a week. And I was over there with Stephen, with Jake, Lee, Matt, the whole group. It was great to be over there with everybody. And yeah, go check them out for that kind of thing. And to play the game, Will, you need models. And where can we get those?
Well, you can get them at Element Games, so our affiliate link at the bottom. Just like go on Element. Anything else you do doesn't cost any extra money. Just click the affiliate link when you go through. Anything you buy, we get a nice little kickback. Especially with the Codexes coming, that might help us get Codexes and that nice new model that looks sick. I have no idea what he does. We can speculate that on the next episode. But yeah, please support the channel by using the affiliate link. And Aidan, I don't know if the guy's still on holiday or not.
Yep, still on holiday. Still on holiday. Well,
Okay.
I'll jump in with two more things then. So I spoke to Charles Brown of Dice while I was over at LVO. We're going to have a call in this week, and we should finally have some news about the dice for you guys. But you can check out those guys for anything else you need. They do other paraphernalia bits. They do other sections. So there's I don't know if the link is in our video description of this, Aidan, or we might need to re-standardize the description, but we will put that in there. And then finally, if you want to support the channel as well, more importantly, wear stuff that's to do with our channel and our merch, you can go to drpstore.com. Always great to see people out at events kind of wearing caps or t-shirts or hoodies, but you can go there to find out what range there is.
Excellent. Thank you so much again for Olaf going a member of Plague Marine. Glad to have finally signed up. You deserve it. Thank you so much, mate. Again, YouTube homepage, community tab. Scroll down a few posts, find the Discord link, join us in.
We are also now. We've now broken 8,500.
Hey, nice.
So I mean, guys, we are rapidly heading towards the Big Ten. So thank you everyone for the continued support, and if you for the 147 people that are hanging around, I think Aidan might play some Death Guard radio right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna put some Death Guard radio on.
And before we do go, one last shout out to Dave and all the LVO guys. Congratulations on such a great show for Death Guard. Mate. We're super proud of you all. You can have a nurgling shake to celebrate. You can even kiss each other. There you go.
Take care, everyone. Stay rotten. We'll catch you all on the next one. See you later.
In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Grave wardens stir, betrayal takes shape, Typhon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight, chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide, Mortarion's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague, a grim reward, Nurgle's laughter echoes aboard. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The Death Guard transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Mortarion stands, his sons by his side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed. The Legion reborn, their fate revealed. Rise in the armor, rot in the soul. A Primarch remade, his heart grown cold. In terror shadow, their war drums beat. Pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly. With death's embrace, they'll never die. The Lion's Gate, where hope was torn. Jagged blade meets the Typhus herald, chaos born. Mortarion's wrath, the plague sworn. In the warp, their legacy thrives. Eternal servants where corruption lies. Mortarion's fall, Typhus ascends. The dead death god song. It never ends. Of rock, they rise to the fights. Growing machines born of plague's delight. Steel fused with flesh, corrupted and vile. Rolling forth in Nurgle's blessed style. Their engines scream like a tortured choir, belching smoke in unholy fire. The battlefield's alive with rust and disease, a symphony of death in the toxic breeze. The round quake, hear the engines roar, a deathless tide from the warp's dark core. The battlefield's alive with rust and disease, a symphony of death in the toxic breeze. The ground quake, hear the engines roar, a deathless tide from the warp's dark core. Engines of decay rolling through the fray, spreading death and despair with every day. Twisted machines, nightmares untamed, the demon engines burning Nurgle's name. Engines of decay, hear the blade bells toll, in the shadow of despair they take your soul. Fetid blow drones with their pestilent hum, rock flies screech as the end has begun. Cursed abominations defying all life, they carve through flesh with their rusted knives. Flamers crawlers grind the earth below, spewing bile where the dead trees grow. The grotesque forms applied upon man, warp forged horrors in the grandfather's plan. Feel the ground quake, hear the engines roar, a deathless tide from the warp's dark core. Engines of decay rolling through the fray, spreading death and despair with every day. Twisted machines, nightmares untamed, the demon engines burning Nurgle's name. Engines of decay, hear the blade bells toll, in the shadow of despair they take your soul. Unclean, a grotesque fusion of man and machine. Blessed by Nurgle, they thrive on disease, bringing the galaxy down to its knees. The gears grind, the pistons scream, a putrid force that shatters dreams. No mercy here, only decay. The demon engines pave Nurgle's way. Death and despair with every day. Twisted machines, nightmares untamed, the demon engines burning Nurgle's name. Engines of decay, hear the blade bells toll, in the shadow of despair they take your soul. Rust and ruin mark their unholy tread, machines of Nurgle, the bringers of dread. The skies are dark, the fields are grey, hell the death guard's engines of decay. Clothed in silence, grim and pale, shrouded forms behind rusted veils. Wielders of scythes, reapers of life, bound to Mortarion, blessed by strife. No words are spoken, yet dread pervades. Eternal watchers, unbroken blades. Astride the tides of filth they tread, the death's round march where life has fled. Ill and decay, the Father's will. Unyielding, relentless, they kill. Echoes of death in every stride. Plague-born rage, shadows by his side. Shadows of rot, the sights of despair. Life withers and dust beneath their glare. Guardians of plague, champions of blight. Extensions of the pale king's might. Toxic mist cleans through ancient blades. The man reaper swings, death incarnate. Each strike in silence, each reaping red rend. Their inexorable march will not end. Handpicked by Mortarion's hand. Loyal till death, his final command. Eternal duty, a silent crusade. They carry the plague till the end of days. He'll indicate the Father's will. Unyielding, relentless, they kill. Echoes of death in every stride. Plague-born rage, shadows by his side. Shadows of rot, the sights of despair. Life withers and dust beneath their glare. Guardians of plague, champions of blight. Extensions of the pale king's might. Dark the fights of murder's hands. Carving through across the land. Mortarion shadow, eternal and true. The death shroud march to bury you.